Hey everyone, today we're going to be making the island classic Spam Musubi. So for starters, we're going to get a pan nice and hot, and then we're going to go ahead and add our Spam to brown it. Now I'm doing 8 slices out of a can. If you use a slicer, you're going to get 10 slices, and that's good, but I like that, just that little meatiness that 8 slices from a can gets versus the 10. Once we get these all in the pan, we're going to go ahead and toast our nori. And what's really, I like to toast the nori. It's just like you do when you're gonna make sushi, because it really freshens up the nori, it crisps it up, gets all that extra moisture out, and really just, it's like night and day versus just using it straight out of the bag. See how we're getting a nice golden brown color? We want to get that nice color on all the slices, and that really adds more flavor. That golden brown gives it a nice caramelized sweetness. While I'm finishing out the Spam, we'll finish out the slices of nori. And if you use whatever stove you have, don't worry about if it's not an open flame or not. But you just want that heat to toast the sheets. Now these are looking really good, so we're gonna go ahead and glaze. I'm adding sugar here, and then we're gonna add the shoyu so we can create our glaze. As it reduces, it's gonna thicken, and I wanna turn over my slices of Spam so that I can get a nice glaze on both sides. See, as it's reducing, it's kind of thickening on there. It looks really, really good. You can almost smell that sweet shoyu flavor. Look at that. Yum. Now we have our mold, and I have it wet so that it doesn't stick to the rice. And we're gonna add our rice. I lightly add it into a full, lightly filled mold, and then I push it down, so that roughly 3/4 of that mold is filled with rice pressed down. We'll go ahead and put it on our nice toasted sheet of nori, and then we'll go ahead and add a piece of Spam on top of that. Now we're making Spam musubis, and if you wanted to, really, you could put almost anything on top of that. You could put a sliced hot dog on there, a nice piece of chicken, and we do those in our stores too. So we'll put the Spam on here, on top of that nice layer of furikake that I put on there, and then we'll roll it up nice and tight. You really want to try to get this as tight as possible, so that it all holds together really nicely. A little bit of water kind of acts as a glue to seal that sheet back together. Now this is the way that we tend to do them in Hawaii, except we might just use a thin sheet of nori. But here's a one that I like to do a lot, it's a thin slice of rice, then the piece of Spam, and then another slice of rice on top of that. And it's almost like a sandwich, right? Think about a slice of bread, your fillings, and then another slice of bread. We'll go ahead and wrap this thing up, just like we did in the first one. Seal it, and roll it up nice and tight. Now you're good to go. And as always, give your Spam musubi a nice pat. Here we have our Spam musubi, and I thought it would be fun to show you another way to kind of make your musubi if you're used to making that with the rice, Spam, and a thin piece of nori. In this version here, I showed you one that has rice, Spam, and then a full wrap, and then we have the version that has rice, Spam, rice, and then a full wrap. The reason I like the full wrap as well is because nowadays, if you're gonna have the one with its little piece of nori, you have to keep eating it with the saran wrap or the plastic wrap because it'll fall apart. The full wrap holds the whole musubi together, and you get some nori with every bite, and that really adds more flavor. One thing I also wanted to mention, and I have these here, is while the basic is rice, Spam, and nori, your creativity is what can really make a musubi exciting. There are versions that have a layer of fried egg in them, but I also thought it would be fun to suggest that maybe you want to make one that has some takuan in there, or pickled daikon, or even some ume, which is a Japanese pickled plum. Put a little layer of that on the rice, then put your Spam, and then your nori. By doing that, you're bringing more dimension, more complexity, and more interesting flavors to the Spam musubi. While I ponder more interesting combinations, I'm gonna dive into this classic. And before I do, for more recipes like this, visit us at foodland.com.